Every smile, every hug, every kiss, every touch, every person in my life that I care about and love. But wait, maybe I'm getting too emotional. That's exactly what they say you ain't supposed to do. Suppress your feelings, never talk about your pain. Can't appreciate the sun without acknowledging it rains, right? That's right. So this a moment of clarity. And make sure you always protect your energy. You stay focused and your life gon' be lit. And you are now rocking with Celeste, the therapist. Let's go.
All right. Hi, beautiful people. So if you're watching me on the replay, thank you for watching me. I appreciate you. If you've never been in here before, my name is Celeste. I'm a therapist from Boston. And my goal in coming on here is to just help you shift the way you think. And the way I've been able to do that is by talking to people that are doing things to empower the lives of others. And I do that by sharing their story. I feel like when we realize we're not alone, especially now with the age of social media and internet, it feels like everything's just kind of happening for people. And you feel like ain't nothing happening for you. I feel like when we start to like really hear other stories and we start to find like some commonality in it, we start to realize, oh snap, like I can do that. Like I can push through, I can navigate my way through. So before I bring on my special guest, I wanted to put up this crisis text line, something that I do before every show. And one of the things that's happening now is a lot of people are feeling isolated. And so like, I really want people to have like an outlet. So this is just one thing, the text crisis line 741-741. You text it, you're connected to a crisis counselor. Another thing that I'm asking or advising people to think about doing too is to like look at their like city or their state website to see if there's any resources, especially if you're struggling. That's going to be huge. Hey, Romello, I know I do not want to talk about that. That just breaks my heart. So we are streaming on 3 different platforms. We're streaming on Periscope, we're streaming on Facebook, and we're streaming on YouTube. So if you ever wanted to catch me live, 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, I always go on live, and I'm always bringing on a special guest. So I'm going to bring on my special guest to the stream. Her name is Fena, and I am going to have her introduce herself to the people.
Hey,
hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Can you introduce yourself to my audience, please?
First and foremost, thank you, Celeste, for having me on. But like you said earlier, my name is Fena Fenelon, real name.
Why did you say it's a real name?
I have, because honestly, since birth, since the time I could actually say my full name, people have been like, is that real? And I'm like, real name. And because it just flows. So, yes.
It's kind of dope when you're right. It does kind of flow kind of dope.
Yeah. So Fena and I am the CEO and founder of Sofenomenal Agency Group. We are a branding and marketing agency based out of Massachusetts. But we cater to anyone worldwide, hopefully globally. One day globally. And what we do is just we work with pre-existing or new brands and help either pivot or build brands. But not only do we focus on branding, we understand that branding is a form of connection and a form of reach. We would like to use our branding abilities to reach to our demographic and to reach especially those of color, people of color.
Nice. I like that. I'm glad that you're on talking about branding, because one of the things I want to get to later in the show is to really help my audience kind of think about like what branding is, because some people are at home kind of thinking about ways to kind of help their brand or create a brand. Like, what does that look like? But before I like ask you for some tips, I really want to understand how you kind of started on this path, because it's amazing. I know you had your launch party last year. That was amazing. You partnered with so many different brands. And so like, I'm curious about how did Sofenomenal start?
Sofenomenal started with me getting fired from my job. So very similar to a lot of people, whatever they're going through right now. It's just literally, I was working from home. It was one of those jobs that you can work from home, of course, privileged to do so. And I came in and they said, yeah, we no longer need you. And but I knew that was kind of coming because earlier that year I said to myself that it was either that I was going to get fired or I was going to quit. And I didn't have the guts, the balls to quit because I had bills. And so I was going to say bless you, but that was a cough. Bless you. And so I had bills, so I was not going to quit. I was definitely not going to quit. And crazy enough, they let me go, and I said thank you because I felt like it was like a burden off of my shoulders. And it's not the first time I've been laid off or fired, but this time was just different. I just felt like I was good. And also I didn't care because that means I didn't have to, because my PTO, my paid time off, wasn't approved. And I was going to Thailand in like 3 weeks. And I was just like, I don't have to worry about PTO anymore.
Wait, so I know you're laughing now, but when they fired you, was you like freaking out? You
no,
wasn't? Okay.
I said, thank you very much. And I smiled and left. I was just like, I'm gone. Hopped in the car, drove, went home, and I said, hey guys, I'm fired. To my sister. I was like, well, I'm fired. But yeah, so anyway, I had told several people that I've been fired, and everybody was just like, every person I told, they were like, finally. And I was just like, what are you saying finally? They were like, you were never meant to work for anybody else. You were too creative to sit behind somebody else's desk making them money. And when you don't know about yourself, but other people can see the greatness and they see the potential in you, but all you're doing is just, waking up, working for the man, coming back home, and that's it. And so now the people who I told this to, they were just like, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And my problem is that I don't know if it's a good problem. I'm not saying this to toot my own horn. I'm good at a lot of things. So it was to a point where, yes, I'm good at all these things, but where am I putting my focus in? I don't put my focus in at all. So that's that first part. Traveled. I thought I was gonna come back as a blogger. Blogging is exhaust. Like, I used to do it, didn't like it. It's not me. And my friend in DC hit me up, and she's like, Claire Salmers, who is the creator and CEO and founder of Fashion Bomb Daily, is coming to speak in Massachusetts. She's coming down to Hyde Park, some store in Hyde Park. You should go check it out. And I said, okay. I mean, I follow Fashion Bomb Daily. Doesn't hurt to go see her. I go see her, and I happen to sit next to, I don't know if you know Ritza. She has the hat line, cool one. But yeah, so she happens to be there. I sit next to her, and she's like, yeah, I really want, like, and I happen to be one of her models for for her hat line. I sit next to her, and she's like, I need a website, and I need a website soon. And she's already followed me years ago because I had an Instagram that, I love aesthetic. I love good aesthetic. I love clean, like, photos. And she's like, based on your IG, like, I feel I can trust you to make my website for me. And I was like, I've never made a website for anyone. And she was like, I'll take a chance with you. I'll pay you. And so that's literally how it started. And I was like, okay. Okay. I mean, I just lost my job. So, I mean, I'll take anything that I can get. So I'm, doing the simple, the things that people do when you're working on something. I'm calling them. Do you like this? Do you like how this looks? Going back and forth, talking to a client that I didn't know what client. I'm thinking this is just a friend. I'm just going back and forth. Finally, it's time for the launch of the hat line. And she puts out the website and says, designed by Fena. And now everyone's like, Fena? I'm not known for that. Like, I'm not known for creating websites. So now everyone's just like, why is Fena creating websites? So now I'm getting inquiries about, hey, do you do business cards? Do you do flyers? Do you do this?
Wow.
And so I started saying no. I was like, no. That was just a one-time thing. I'm happy she likes it, you know, whatever. And then my best friend, she was like, Fena, I need you to do something for me. I need you to stop saying no. And so literally after she said that to me, I said, okay, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna say yes. So I started saying yes, but also because we all do this, like my own personal doubts came in, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this called? First of all, I'm embarrassed to even say this, but I'm gonna say it. I don't care.
I'm a therapist. You can't be embarrassed to share with me. Come on, Fena.
I don't even care. So when I was doing these things, I didn't know I was graphic designing all my freaking life. Like I did not know I was doing this, but I never knew what the word was for this position up until someone was like, "You're a graphic designer." I was like, "Oh my gosh, is that what it's?" I'm not sure if it's because I'm Haitian, drilled in your head, lawyer, doctor, nurse, engineer. And I was like, okay. But the actual title of graphic designer, I was just like, I never crossed my mind. I was just like, so that's what it is?
Dang.
I had no idea. So now I'm over here like, cool. I got to brand myself as a graphic designer now. So for years, people had known me for fitness. So I was built like a health and fitness. So that's what was my brand at first.
Your personal brand,
brand was.
Did you know you was building a personal brand as you was building it? Was that your mindset?
No, I did honestly. I documented my weight loss based off of. It was more so a personal journal.
Oh, okay.
So I can track myself.
Okay.
But I had surgery and I had a back injury that like slowed me down a little bit. So I wasn't working out as much as I used to.
Okay.
So it was kind of easy for me to kind of clean out my page, but now I was using my page to now put up work I was creating for other people.
Wow.
So now for those who went to elementary school, middle school, they knew in high school, they knew I was creative. But people I went to college and after college were just like, where's this coming from? I did not know you knew how to draw. I did not know that you knew how to design. I did not know you were this creative. Like, where did this come from? And I was just like, kind of pushing it out, like, pushing things out.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely got attention because it was such a great dynamic, like switcheroo. Like it was just like fitness now. And then next thing I'm putting up graphics and I'm pushing myself out there as a graphic designer and web designer.
How do you make the switch from that internal voice? Because it sounds like your best friend's telling you not to say no, but even though you start saying yes, does that internal voice stop?
No, it didn't. It definitely did not. And because I was psyching myself out, I was researching and I was just like, it was just like, there's enough graphic designers out there. Like, there's enough out there. Do they need me? Like, why me? Like, I don't really, and I'm not sure if it's just like the Caribbean in me or whatever, but I was just like, I don't have any educational things when it comes to graphic design. Like I didn't go to school for any of this. I just dabbled. I learned everything is self-taught. Everything is still self-taught. And so, so for me, it was holding me back a little bit, but I had to once I started Googling and seeing what graphic designers actually look like, they didn't look like me. They didn't look like Black girl, big girl who likes weaves, girls who likes fur, girls who likes to get their nails done all the time. They don't typically look like me. And so that was actually what drove me to actually change my name from Phenomenally Fit, because I was branding myself Phenomenally Fit to Phenomenal Design Images. And so that's how it was like, okay, I had to do the shift because that thought became my why. And that's what really drove me to continue and still doing it now, is because growing up, I did, again, to go back to the fact that, oh God, that's what it's called to. I can be an example for you girls who can say like, okay, so instead of being, well, now younger girls want to be an influencer. Nothing wrong with influencers, but we do need doctors, especially in a time like this. We need as many Black doctors as much as possible. Just like we need doctors, same thing, just like we need lawyers, other health professionals or those who are in sciences. We also do need people who look like us to create and to continue to create. And so that was literally my why. And that was, to answer your question, that small voice, if I had let it take over me, I don't think I would probably be here. I probably would look for a 9-to-5 job.
No, you wouldn't have.
I sometimes think about it, like, what if I was still at a 9-to-5? Like, although now I'm working like 24, but whatever. It's not 24/7, but you know. But
I feel like people like you that are creative, because there's not a direct pocket. Like, for instance, as a therapist, I go to school, I get my degree, I can get my license, start a practice. It's pretty direct, right? I could bill insurance. So for me, it's a simpler like way. Not that the journey is simpler, but the way that our society thinks of it. But with creators, I feel like there's so many different things, there's so many different lanes you can take that sometimes it's hard to really figure out what that's going to look like for people like you that like have this like amazing like mindset to create all these different things.
I would say sometimes even like if I could take my brain and just like display it on like a projector, it probably would look a hot freaking mess. Like, what is in her mind? And it doesn't help that there's sleep deprivation as well attached to it.
It'll probably be bright with different kind of like directions, but that's what makes you so phenomenal.
I see what you said there.
Wait, so one of the things you said about personal branding and then your agency, can you tell people like how important it is, you know, and what that looks like for personal branding, especially in the age of social media, because social media is a free way to kind of brand yourself?
Yeah. So I just recently created a business page as of, I would like to say either July or August, because that's when I, again, originally the name of the company or business was Sofenomenal Design and Images. And I switched it over to Sofenomenal Agency Group because I wanted something that can grow. And so because it's no longer only me, I needed to be separate from my own personal brand. But I do know that I do hold some type of influence. And so, I mean, for me, my personal brand should drive people over to my company or my business in some way. And I feel like it brings personality to the brand.
Yeah.
Like we see, like, for example, we're going to use Beyonce. I love Beyonce. Love her. We see Beyonce on the stage. We just like, whatever, you know, we're screaming for her. It was up until like Lemonade came out and we felt like we knew her a little bit. Got an Instagram, and then now she's posting a little bit more and being a little bit more personable. I feel like it's something like that. Like we have a chance to feel like we know each other and we're putting a personality to the brand. Like aside from the brand, like I love the brand, but I feel like I can connect with you. And again, it goes back to the connectivity of a brand. What does a brand actually do? The reason why you choose the colors, the reason why you choose a logo, the reason why you choose, you know, the kind of words is to attract the demographic that you're going for. And so for me, yes, my demographic right now is I put tech and culture because that's really those are the two things they're changing, they're progressive along with other things. But you know, I just want to bring some personality to it, to the brand.
So when people are kind of thinking about branding and thinking about the personality, thinking about to still be able to connect with your audience while still promoting your brand. So people can have both. That makes sense. And I have both. Like I have a personal page and then I have a business page. I think about people who just kind of probably want to hear about mental health, and maybe people who want to know about like my life. I never like thought about it like that deeply, like you just presented it, but I just kind of said, let me just share a little bit of my life on one thing. So that makes a lot of sense what you're saying.
You never know who can connect with you. Even if they're not going to hire you for therapy, they might hire you because they can relate to you.
Yeah.
They might not hire me for a logo, a package, or some type of style plan, but they'll feel like I gravitate towards her because there's something about her that she gives. Like she says that I think the same way. I would do this. I would pose this way. I love her lip color. Like you know, things things that could connect you. And especially when you said in regards to social media, it's different from when we were growing up,
Yeah.
where we would just only see either people from our street
Mhm.
or who we went to school with or church with or wherever.
Mhm.
But now it's just like I could connect with somebody in St. Louis. Never
Yeah.
met her personally, but I have a connection with that person.
Mhm.
And it's so crazy that, we went from, just down the street to like now down the other end
Of the world at
of the
times.
world, actually.
When you think about So Phenomenal in your agency, what exactly do you guys do? Because it feels like you're a one-stop shop for many different things.
We're almost a one-stop shop, but we're in regards to like majority wise, yeah, we are a one-stop shop. Need to clarify this: we do not throw events.
Oh, you do the branding for the event.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Because your event was so dope. People probably thought.
no, because even for Blacktoberfest, when we just had it, I had an event planner for that.
Okay.
We have an event planner and a production company that's also partnered with So Phenomenal. So just in case if we need another event, if we're going to put on an event, we have people already hired and they're already on deck. They're already ready.
Okay.
And just also, if we have, say, for example, if we have like an artist that wants to do like a listening party or anything of that sort, we brand it and then we do the connections. We'll do production and event planning, but we're not doing the event planning. We literally are pretty much creating the vibe, and we're creating the look for it. Not the look, but kind of just branding the event. But we're not. But anyway, to go back to what we do, how do I look at it?
You're like smiling just thinking about what you do. You're just so passionate about this. I'm listening. I want to hear.
I like to call it you restyle your brand. You know how like a stylist comes and dresses you up. And most stylists, what they'll do is take what you already have and switch it up.
Mm-hmm.
Where we're not giving you something that's completely new. We might spruce it up.
Mm-hmm.
We want it to be long lasting, just like classic looks, classic things that you need. Good pair of jeans, a good pair of white shirt. You take what you already have, but we just need to spruce it up. And also we want you to have longevity when it comes to your brand. A lot of people don't like when they first start a brand, is just think logo and they want the works. They want spots here, florals here, and it becomes something, it's like pretty. I'm just like, if you pay attention to these big brands, it's not a lot of busyness. They're thinking about longevity. When you see that brand, you're going to say, oh, that's Hermes.
Nike, McDonald's. Nike got the check. McDonald's got the M.
Yeah, and it's not busy. To me, those are classic looks. So I feel like for us, I consider myself the brand stylist, but the brand itself So Phenomenal. We literally style brands. Like,
that's dope.
Yeah, so we kind of give it a little spruce. We change up your closet, your brand.
No, that's a good analogy. I'm like the analogy queen. So you just helped me understand it like to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same way when people say like when you walk in the room, your style speaks for it. I really do want your brand to speak for itself. You don't need any introduction. You're just like, wow, that's your brand. I like to say our style is very clean and sleek, but bold at the same time. So, but yeah, we do packages, we do logos, we do graphics, we do what do you do? Media kits. I think a lot of people are kind of tapping into too, especially when those are going into those who are tapping into speaking engagements and singing, like artists or people who are like public figures or stuff like that, anything like that. And I think I'm one of those people who don't believe in having a website for everything that you do. So I'm just like, sometimes the media kit will speak for you. You don't need to have a website. Not every brand merits a website. You have to think of why do you need a website. It doesn't mean that you're official if you have it. I mean, what don't we do?
You do a lot.
Yeah, we do a lot. We do a lot. Kind of getting into the whole video thing. I edit. I'm learning how to edit, so that's why I'm kind of pushing myself to do some videos where I give out tips and kind of explain branding a bit.
Okay.
Um, and that's just my own personal thing. But yeah, we literally tap into a lot of things.
That's dope. Now with COVID happening, it kind of happened really quickly. What has happened with your agency? Like, how have you had to pivot, and what kind of things are people looking for? Because right now, like, things are happening virtually, so I still feel like you still need branding. Doesn't stop because outside stop. Things are still happening. So what does it look like on your end?
First of all, now that we're talking about COVID-19, I would like to say, like, this branding that you're doing right here makes me so proud.
Oh, thank you. Coming from Sofenomenal, it makes me feel excited. Thank you. You know, I just threw it together over time.
You're doing a good job, boo-boo. But what you're doing right now is well, you were already kind of doing this anyway prior to COVID, so you were already kind of above, ahead of it. But the branding part is really what I was like. What I posted the other day was just like, just because it's virtual doesn't mean you don't need the branding, and the branding doesn't stop. I know a lot of people are now they're pivoting into virtual, but that's not what you asked me. What did we do? We were kind of quiet in the beginning because it was. Let's be honest, we didn't know what was going on.
No.
For us, we were hit very hard due to the fact that I think, and praise God for Blacktoberfest, but we got a lot of attention from it. And so now a lot of events were now changing their ways of how to brand their events. So a lot of events were canceled. Yeah. And so those deals had to fall through. And so that was the bulk of it. And also considering the fact that a lot of our businesses that were working with us are also smaller businesses under, 100 people. Yeah. And it was hard for them to also kind of grasp what was really going on. We are in the midst of this invisible disease or virus, and our government doesn't know what to do with it either. So it's like everyone doesn't know what's going on. Yeah. So we were kind of quiet in the beginning. And at first, I felt a little guilty, being the head of it, and I do have people who are on my team, and I'm being a little bit quiet. I'm not saying anything to them. Like, I don't know what to say. But we did meet up, and I said, it's okay for us to be quiet because I feel like a lot of people are making noise. And it's okay to kind of reel back and just be quiet for a second or for a moment.
Yeah, it's okay.
Because this is just not normal. It's not. And because it's not normal, we don't have to continue like it's the status quo. Because this people they're losing their lives, people are losing their jobs, people are losing their sanity, and the last thing I'm thinking about is branding. And so, to be honest with you, it took me a while to get back into a creative groove because I could not think about anything past. And my parents are not here; they're in Haiti. They're stuck in Haiti because they can't come back to the U.S. So I'm thinking about that. I have asthma. I have siblings who have other breathing issues. My sister works in the hospital. I don't have time to think about anything else besides
everything else that's happening.
And I kind of had to slowly acknowledge that I know the COVID-19 is it's repeating history, but it just has a different name and a different face. And just same way as the Great Depression, the same way in 2008. Things where it shifted and shook a lot of people's lives. This is just another example of that. And business, had to go through this. What I'm going through is the same thing as Coca-Cola is going through. We're all going through, we're all being shaken up. So I was quiet in the beginning, but I had to think about myself. I was like, Fena, I think this is utilize this time. Granted, people are losing their lives. Granted, people are scared. It's also one of those things that I had to think about, as a business owner, when's the next time you're going to rest or pause for a little bit or slow down? So I used that time to slow down, kind of think about what I wanted. And then going back to the personal branding, I wanted to literally brand myself as a brand specialist. I know I was saying that, but I was like, am I specializing enough? Like, am I styling? Am I giving tips? Am I doing enough to put myself out there? So I was just like slowly working on my own professional development when it comes to my own personal brand and as a CEO and founder. Um, and that's what I've been doing. We've been pivoting that more so, kind of like putting out more tips versus like displaying a lot of brands and stuff like that. And I'm happy we did that because a lot of people were also in that little limbo / purgatory, like they didn't know where to go. And just recently, a lot more brands have been hitting us up like, okay, we're ready. We have ideas.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're slowly getting back into it, slowly getting back to it. And I think it's just a matter of just kind of like marinating in the truth of what we're going through, like utilizing your brain, your creative brain to start thinking about how can we pivot, how can we be flexible, what can we do to kind of like still be relevant in a time like this. And so that's what we were going through personally.
That just warms my little therapist heart to hear you talk that way, because I think a lot of people don't make space to be still. And I think what you did will allow you to be even more creative because you're processing. You're not just trying to cope. Some people cope with work. Like, I'm just going to keep working and pretend this ain't happening. But you're acknowledging like all of the things that you're going through, and you can't change it either. And you're dealing with it as it comes. So I think that's super dope that you did it that way. That's just like the mental health way.
I mean, I don't want to go crazy.
Yep.
I mean, not to say that I haven't gone crazy, but I don't want to go into a point of insanity.
Yep. That's what happens.
Especially since this is something that we're all going through. Like, everyone is going through it. So it's just like, it's okay to pause. And I know because I have had previous health issues, I have to make sure that my body is right and good. And so I have to make sure that, okay, things will get done.
Yeah.
Work done.
Yeah, that's good.
I have to remind myself. And it's crazy because I don't know if it's a woman thing or a Black woman thing. It's just like although I'm paused, I've always had I was doing little things. I was always doing something. But I feel like Black women always have to do something. Like, we have to work. It's like we don't know what an off button is. And although like my version of off doesn't look like version of off for anybody else, so it's like I'm working towards something. But it was definitely way muted compared to what I was doing before. So we need to reset.
Now, I always like to leave my audience with like some kind of takeaways. Prior to you kind of starting talking about COVID, you talked about virtual things that are happening for people and how they still kind of need a brand. Can you help us kind of think about some tips that we can take away around, like, whether we're trying to build a personal brand or a business brand, like anything that can help us like navigate during this time for those people that are in the creative space, right? I always tell people that, I do this and talk to people, not because it's like what you need to start doing this now, but if you're in that space to want to do it, I really want people to have the tools that they need.
First and foremost, don't feel coerced. That word I love that word so much, but I feel like I always butcher it. Don't feel forced to do something that it doesn't feel natural for you to do. A lot of people, I feel like social media, especially in the beginning, I haven't seen too much, but then again, I've also kind of drew back a little bit from it where it's just like, if you don't use this time to build, or if you don't use this time to grow, if you don't use this time, first of all,
sorry, your face.
First of all,
you don't have a poker face.
Yeah, I know.
Like, just stop, right? We're in the whole pandemic. Like
shut up. And I was in that boat. Like, I was like, oh, I'm out here creating. I'm working on my book. I'm out here. And then I had a crash, and I was just like, I'm gonna be right here for a while. I'm just gonna be on the floor for a while. I'm just not gonna get up. So I'm not gonna get out. And I was just like, that's when I realized it was okay.
Yeah.
So first of all, if you're feeling forced to do it because you feel as though you're not doing anything, then just don't do it. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
But besides that, if it's something that's on your heart, if it's heavy on your heart and it's something that you know for a fact that you really, really, really want to do it, not to sound like Nike, but just do it. But not force, but just do it. Like if it feels good to do it, and do it scared. But don't do it in fear. Two different things. If you do it in fear, you're never going to start. Like you're going to be like, you're just going to be too rigid. You're not going to start. But if you do it scared, you have a little bit of hope. Like you're just going to, it's like jumping off of a cliff attached to a bungee, of course, but attached to a bungee, of course. But, and authenticity, like, you know, this a lot, especially when it comes to creatives, like authenticity is very important just because there's a lot of Mr. Me Too's out there. And there's a lot of like, I can do this. I see that person doing it. Let me do that too. Like I could do it better. Let's just be you, be authentic and just, you know, create what you feel is on your heart to create. Yeah, it's overly saturated with the same thing. Everyone's doing the same thing. And we're not created to be the same. So it's very interesting that a lot of the content that I do see is very repetitive, and which is very interesting. Where we're all, yes, depending on whatever anyone believes faith wise, but if we're all made in His likeness, yes, we understand we come from the Creator. But I mean, if the Creator is a creative, then we all have to have our own creativity.
How do people, because you know, I think one issue people have is that they're kind of seeing what other people are doing. How do people stay in their lane? Like, do you have any advice to help people kind of stay focused? Because it's a lot of like distracting noise. And like what you said at the beginning, you said there's a ton of other graphic designers. But in my mind, I'm like, but yeah, there's tons of people that there's room for all of us to grow. So how does one kind of navigate that mindset around like, oh, but there's other people like me, or I want to try to stay in my lane, but I keep looking at other people's stuff?
I think it's a matter of self-reflection. Like you have to know who you are as a person. Like if you know yourself, like if you truly like I there, even for people like who do know themselves, themselves. I can't speak themselves. It's always good for us to still kind of like check ourselves and make sure we're in the right space, you know. But I feel like as though a lot of reasons as to why everyone doesn't feel like there's room for other people is because there's there's something inside of them that's really holding them back. And because it's holding them back, it's going to, of course, cause doubt, negative thinking, thoughts, and just no originality. So it's really a matter of them knowing themselves in order for them to actually, you know, stay in their lane. If you know yourself, you won't even be concerned about who's ever to your left or your right.
That's dope. That's so dope. Like that's a word right there. I gotta pass it back to play. Fena, this was dope. I'm grateful to you for making space to come on. Yeah, like I love your transparency. Like I love the tips that you gave us. I think that this is a struggle that people have. And I'm a therapist, so I talk to people all the time that are trying to start. And I ask these questions with that mindset. You know, I know what the struggle is. I think for me, and like how you, acknowledge my little shifting the way you think thing. Even when COVID started.
So special guest kind of visit.
Even with this whole branding, the video stuff, like I just kept like every week, if you go back to week 1, when I started coming on video, it didn't look like this. And when I think about even just me having a podcast, it didn't start with me having a podcast. Like it started with me going on YouTube. And so like, I would definitely like for people that are feeling like motivated by, everything that Fena's been saying, I would definitely let you know that like things are going to change and it won't look pretty at
It
first.
doesn't have to be perfect. If I could show you my very first creation, I'm just like, oh wow, I can't believe I even came up with that. Like, it's like and I just started with literally nothing. Everyone, when you're coming up with a brand, you're literally starting with nothing. You're starting from scratch, whether you have money or you don't have money. You're starting from scratch. You start with what you have. And it's so beautiful to see how you progressed. And sometimes I'll look back at the old photos that I used to take. I'll look back and look at the old graphics I used to do. And I'm just like, wow, Fena, you grew. I'm either like, wow, Fena, I grew. Or I'm like, ew, what was I thinking when I created it? I'm just like, this is straight trash. I want no.
But you're proud of yourself because of all the growth.
It's progression.
Yes.
That's what's really important. I would be more concerned if I look back and I did not see any progression.
Yeah.
I honestly would be curled up in my bed right now. Like I
need to switch careers.
I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe something with a pole involved. Oh my God. We're going to start something. Don't worry about it being perfect. It comes with, yes, I am self-taught. Oh, the questions pop up as I'm speaking.
I do it. I don't want you to be distracted. So there's been a lot of conversation, but I try to like.
Okay. Yes, I was self-taught. But what was I saying? But yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. I think for me, I know everyone's just like, oh my gosh, you're so. I literally I'm proud of where I am now, and I'm just excited for where I'm going after this because it's only getting better from here. I can't go back there. So, I mean, so for everyone who wants to start something, just start it. And also networking is honestly, people don't talk about this in branding. Networking is a branding tool. Because people you never know who you're shaking hands with or you're speaking to, which also goes back to your personal branding. If I was a hood rat, just like this talking reckless, and I'm in the space, I don't know who I'm talking to, I could have just ruined my opportunity. And, just being able to work the room and even whether you're introverted or extroverted, there's many ways, there's many resources out there that could like help you kind of work your fears or kind of how to approach people. But I've noticed that through my career, this entrepreneurial career, that the people that I've connected to or connected with through the time have definitely helped me along the way. They've become a resource. So if I don't know anything, they know something, and they can connect me with somebody else that knows even more. So that's also something too. So yeah, just start and build your network.
That's dope. That's good. Tell people how they can reach you if they wanted to reach you.
1-800-555. Just kidding.
Oh, that's a good saying. Someone said, I heard a saying recently, your network is your net worth. Oh, wow. That's actually, that's actually what Fena was saying.
Like Deacon Jay-Z said that, I believe. But yeah, so they can find me on social media. My personal brand, my personal IG is Sofenomenal, same spelling that's on this ticker on the bottom. And then my professional page, the business page, is Sofenomenal Agency Group. You can also go on our website. If you have any questions, you could definitely reach out, email, DM, even to say hi. It doesn't always have to be about branding. I have people hit me up all the time talking about what hair product I'm using or what lashes I'm wearing. So
it's networking. You got to network.
Network, or even what hip hop album I'm listening to at the time. So I'm pretty well versed, like versatile in regards to my likes and dislikes and things I'm interested in. So it's not always about branding that people can hit me up about. And yeah.
Thank you. And people that are listening to this on the podcast, just go to the show notes and I'll have a link for you to just click on it. So Miss Fena Fenelon, real name, right?
Real name. It was almost French, but my father intercepted and said, no, her name is Fena.
Thank you so much. This was amazing. You're amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
And I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
That was so good. Oh, let me change this. That was amazing. So you guys, it's Friday, which means I won't see you guys again until Monday. For people that are just coming in or new here, I come on Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm always talking to somebody to help us shift the way that they think, to help us shift the way we think. And I'm grateful to Fena for coming on because you know, I've been watching her from her fitness days, and then I'm one of those people that was like, whoa, what is this? I thought you did fitness. So if you missed the beginning of the show, you can watch the recap or listen to it on the podcast. But it's amazing to see all the growth and all of the things that she's doing. And, you know, I love me some transparency. So I'm grateful to her for letting us know, like, she didn't just start being like dope in her graphics. She built her way up. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. So, you know, I love you guys so much. Find me, celestetherapist.com. We're like 5,000 downloads away from 100,000 downloads. So y'all know I'm like super pumped. I'm super excited. I'm working on a video, like a 2.5-minute video that kind of shares my story, you know, of getting to that point of reaching 100,000 downloads. I think that, you know, just like Fena shared in this broadcast about, you know, we all start somewhere. You just got to start. It just like warmed my heart because that's exactly like what I've been doing. And it seems like I just do it, but I don't. It's a lot of fear attached to everything that I do. But my passion is like, I know people need this, you know? And like, when I think about her passion, it's like, oh, there's nobody that looks like me doing this. I want to let them know like they can do this. And when you have that purpose, like that's what drives me really, is your purpose. And I should have said this when we were on the podcast, on the show, but like when she talked about that, my first thing was like, oh, okay, you found your purpose. Like that's what makes it easier and okay for you to keep doing it. So hi, Suzanne. So yeah, so thank you guys so much. We'll be back Monday. Sunday, I will drop the guests for the entire week. So I'll have their like picture and their website so that you can kind of see who's coming up, so you can know if you want to like tune into the show. But even if you can't make the show, know that you can follow me on my podcast, Celeste the Therapist Podcast. Love you guys. Until next time, I will talk to you later.
Every laugh, every smile, every hug, every kiss, every touch, every person in my life that I care about and love. But wait, maybe I'm getting too emotional. That's exactly what they say you ain't supposed to do. Suppress your feelings, never talk about your pain. Can't appreciate the sun without acknowledging it rains, right? That's right. So this a moment of clarity. And make sure you always protect your energy. You stay focused and your life gon' be lit. And you are now rocking with Celeste the Therapist. Let's go.